Okay, look at me with a stationary camera pointed at what it should be pointed at, so you might be able to see what I'm working with. So, I'm going to put the main bearings in. See? Main bearings. We're going to put those in first, and we're going to plastic gauge things. So, we'll go along here with our main bearings, one at a time, more sense. Now just to really have a little bit of lubrication on there, spray a little more on just to be on the safe side. A little bit of lubrication underneath. Make sure these snap into place properly. King bearings here, which are supposed to be the best. Now whether or not they make a difference, I don't know. Going with the best. Not taking any chances. Got the ones with the grooves here in the block. Level and straight. And I put that one in the wrong spot there before, so I'm going to take it back out. That was actually where the thrust washer goes. The thrust washer on these comes with the bearings, not a separate piece. I don't know whether they're like that on most or not, or how they're done, but on this one, you'll see here, take the plastic off, that thrust washer is part of the bearing. Make sure the holes are on the right side. You can have holes on both sides, so it's not a big issue. They got to put the locator piece in place, push it down in, nice and tight, just like that. Now for the caps. And seeing as I have the one with the thrust washer first, I'll use it first. I'll get the old thrust washer in. Use the old one out. Take the cap. There's just a little bit of this light lube on things. We're doing this outside, but there's no chance of any dust or contaminants getting inside, of course, because the lights do things precise. And also the fact that inside my shop is probably just as dusty, or worse. So, of course we're going to have to put the crankshaft in before we put these on. So I'm going to go get the crankshaft, lay it in place, and then we'll continue videotaping after I put the plastic gauge on. We'll put the caps on, we'll torque things down and see where we stand. Okay, so I put the crank in. What we're going to do is we're going to plastic gauge now. And this is more just for fun. You know, everything's fun. Plastic gauge is not that expensive. Of course, in my line of finance, it's actually very expensive. Put a piece of plastic gauge on each one here. I'm going to do this 3 or 4 times. Earl suggested I do it 1/8 of a turn and then do it again, but well, and he's right. He's definitely right. I am not going to do much different one way or the other unless something is serious here. I'm doing this just basically for my own interest, to see where things sit. I'm not cutting these long enough. A little on the short side, but length I don't think really matters. Just put them on there, put the caps on, and torque them down, and then we'll be able to check them over. So, cap number 1, 0 to the front, bolts out, and we'll put number 1 on. And of course, use our rubber hammer at all times. On to number 4. And yes, I'm sure there's 100 different things that I'm doing wrong right at the moment, but I'm sure we'll be okay here one way or the other. Now we need to torque these down, so I've got to look up the torque specs again just to make sure. What we're supposed to do. 74 D3, 55 to 61 foot-pounds. Okay. One more time. 75 to 83. So we're going to start. We're going to go to 40, I think. Sketchy on where we are here. 40. 40 right there. So, we'll spin these in. We'll be back once we have these torqued down. So we'll bring you in here and you can see, I think one time's going to be plenty for everybody. You can see how wide that is compared to how wide this is. It's around the 2000. Okay, I said it can be up to basically 30,000 maximum. This one's a little thinner, but it's allowed to be down. I don't know if pages have moved again there now, but it was allowed to be down to a very, very small amount, and that's between there. Look at each one of them. We could see the end one here got a little smushed, but we're pretty much within the tolerances. So, and you know, it doesn't look like seismic activity. I was afraid, you know, if there was any deep scoring or anything, but it doesn't even seem to show up on the marks. So, I think we're going to be okay. Okay, back at it again this morning. We're going to try to get 3 of the pistons in, and connecting rods and all that kind of stuff. We've wiped out our cylinders here as best they're going to get wiped out. You want to see precision, paying attention to details and all that kind of stuff. You go back to my earlier videos, the first time I built this thing, you can see all the time and energy and precision I put into things. This time around, down dirty, don't give a shit. We're waiting on a connecting rod, so we're only going to get 3 in. You can see this connecting rod, after we put so much time and energy into things and whatnot, you can see here how close we were to having this rod right up to the side of the block. She was definitely not feeling good. But what's happened here is I've checked the rings already, and the gap on the rings is within tolerances. We're putting new rings on. The old rings, yeah, they were, I don't know, he had said when he checked them, person that I was paying a lot of attention to, he had said that they were within spec, at the end of the spec, but they were within spec. No, they're not. Not even close. The new ones are all within spec right out of the box. You know, they're iron rings instead of chrome moly, but it's not that important. So I'm going to put those on, and then we'll stick 3 of the pistons in, and when the connecting rod shows up, of course we'll have to take it and get the wrist pin pushed out, new one put on, check the weight and all that kind of stuff. because we want to have it, you know, close to the same as the other one. Although, to tell you the truth, balancing things doesn't even really interest me that much this time around. Everything was balanced last time, but no oil, boom. So this time maybe I'll have oil, no balance, and boom. As you can tell, I don't have the same interest or enthusiasm that I had for this build the first time around. Second time around is a lot more boring and just frustrating. So we're gonna put it together though. We're gonna have something happen, and we'll see. Hopefully in time for the car show. But that's up to the gods and the fates, and they've never really been friends of mine. So we'll see how it goes. But stay tuned. More drama coming right up. Okay, we got the 3 pistons in, and we think we've discovered another problem. I'll turn it over here so you can see. It turns very hard. There are stiff spots. Oh boy. Yep, that's a real hard spot there. It does not turn very easy at all. It turns extremely hard, which means we've got a bent crank or a lot of bent rods or something. But something is very, very wrong. If you could see any of that, that's not the way she should turn over at all. So, more broken parts, more issues. Yeah, more issues. So, this rebuild will not be happening anytime soon. If at all. Not if at all because we're giving up on it, just if at all because we may not be able to get other parts. There's rumors of an engine here and there. There's a wrecking yard over in Alberta that claims to have several of them, but I've been in touch with them on 4 occasions, and they keep promising me callbacks and promising me, well, they just don't ever return anything. So they either have way too much business and don't need to do business with me because they're way too profitable, or they just are jerks. One of the two, I guess. And then there's 1 or 2 other places that might have engines, but I'm in no shape physically to go get an engine by myself. I don't have the rigging. I don't have the stuff to take, you know, engine hoist. I don't have one, or an engine lift. Taking an engine out by myself is just in the woods somewhere or in somebody's back alley is a job for younger people than me, or people in better shape. And as you've probably been able to notice this. Oh, okay, let's have a look at this. This is our issue right here. Now, I've played around with a few things, but I'll just read you the torque settings here as we go. So I've got the pistons at number 4 is at top, number 2 and 3 are at the bottom. Number 4 is non-existent, no drag there. Actually, that's the wrong way. Number 1 is non-existent, 2 and 3 are at the top. Number 4, I'm going to start again. I don't even know where I am. Number 1, non-existent. 2 and 3 at the bottom. 4 at the top. Engine's upside down, so I'm getting confused. So now we will rotate the engine in a clockwise manner. Checking to make sure I'm doing clockwise. And I will show you the torque settings. I will read you the torque settings as I turn the engine. We start out, we're at 0, everything looks pretty good. We start coming up around here. We're up now to about 40, 50, oh boy, 50 and holding. And the reversal, so from about halfway to halfway stroke, or all 3 of them are at the exact same position, 2 going up and 1 coming down. We got the 50 foot-pounds of torque, and then it seems to overcenter and we're good again. And then when we do the same thing, I'm not even going to look at torque settings this time. I can just tell, well, not quite as bad on this side, maybe 25. We'll go back around and check again here for fun. And now after 1 lubrication run, of course, seems easier again. But no, we're up to the the 40 mark there. We come around. And that's the way it just seems to continue. And, yeah, we're not sure why. We've checked. The caps are in the right spots. And, so on. I thought about doing more plastic gauge, but why are they tight halfway through the cycle and not tight the rest of the way through the cycle? You know, unless they're seriously out of round, which, I mean, it doesn't really make sense, because to get seriously out of round, they would have had to wear out and would make the rods, loose and during part of the rotation, which they're not. So we seem to have a problem here. Now, what to do about that problem, I'm not sure yet. I do have the other connecting rod coming. And it's not the, I know some people immediately think the new rings. It's not the new rings, because I didn't use the new rings. I was going to use the new rings. Turned out that the new rings take a deeper ring groove than the older rings did. Apparently they had two different styles, changed things along the line there somewhere. And I have either what they made after the change or before the change, one or the other. And yes, I could put them in a lathe and turn them down that tiny little bit. And it is just a tiny little bit. But I don't have a lathe. I don't have access to a lathe. That part of the engine build that you saw previously is over and done, and there's no interest or desire to continue on their end, so I don't have access to a lathe anymore, which is fine. I just need the proper set of rings, which bunch of money, and or take the thing to a machine shop, see if it's connecting rods, which once again is a bunch of money, because they can straighten connecting rods, I understand, but I can't straighten connecting rods. I could buy new connecting rods. Anybody wants to look them up, $200-300, cheapest I could find them, and then I have to get them installed, because they're not simple wrist pin and clip connecting rods. They need to be pressed in and pressed out with the proper rigging, or you bugger everything up, and we don't need more things buggered up. So we're not sure where things stand at this moment. But we're not done. But we may be on hiatus. Okay, State of the Union address. There's no union, and we have no address. So how about a fireside chat? No, there's fire bans everywhere. Well, if I'm chatting on a video camera, I'm really only chatting to myself. Talking to myself is signs of, well, actually, it's a sign of normal for me. So we'll go with that. Fireside chat with no fire, chatting with myself. We've had to come and face some hard truths here and some reality. I'm a bit out of my depth. Nobody would have guessed that at all, would they? I know it's a shock. Shh, don't tell a lot of people. I'm really faking it for the rest of the world. But I'm a tad bit out of my depth there. The rings being an issue. I mean, I bought what I thought were the right rings. If you'll hold on here just a second. Yeah, Hastings rings. Good. Yes, got the light shining on things there. But I bought Hastings rings. Which are a good ring. Nothing wrong with them. Well timed on the cough. But they don't seem to be the right ones. Now, maybe there's carbon buildup in the ring grooves. I don't know. They're supposed to be for a G54B. It says right on the back. For several different motors. Anyways,
And then, of course, I decided I needed to break one, which didn't help things any either. But I tried literally 23 times with the ring compressor to get that piston to go in, and under no circumstances would it go in past the oil ring. The oil ring was definitely wrong. The oil ring, the web part of the oil ring, was about 1.5 times as wide as the ring gap, or as the slot for the ring, tall, wide. It just would not go in. The other two seemed to be just a little bit thicker, for like from outside of the piston to inside of the piston, and they would not. So I had to reuse the old oil rings, anyways, and the new ones would just not go in. So that is what it is. I mean, I had 190 pounds of compression on all four cylinders before, with what I thought was a significant amount of blow by. He took the oil cap off, and it blow your mustache around. Um, no offense to you women. So yeah, it there's something else going on. More research is not, or more somebody with a better book. I don't know. Then we have this problem with the binding, uh, and it's weird. It binds worse the first time around. It is very weird. It's almost like maybe one of the wrist pins is slightly bent. I don't know. It definitely needs to go to a machine shop and be probably, have everything run out on a lathe with a dial indicator, have things checked with micrometers, so on and so forth. I've got a dial indicator. As I mentioned, I don't have a lathe, and I also am very, very green at running a dial indicator. Um, I've got a vernier caliper, use a lot, but not what's needed in this situation. Our precise equipment. Um, I am. I've decided I am going to get the fourth piston done. Take it to a machine shop, engine machine shop that I've been told is very good, and get them to press the new one in. Hopefully, fairly quickly, but who knows. But reality is, I need to take a step back. I have exceeded the budget substantially. And the budget being pretty much my life savings and, you know, month to month income. Not to get too personal or anything like that at all, but I live on a fixed income. You know, a person in good shape can come out and put this motor together in a day. Took me a little bit longer than that. And sometimes there were serious gaps in between where physically I just wasn't able to come out to the shop. And it's taking a toll on me, trying to do it again here. Um, but that's not the money. Money's always an issue, so I can't complain about money any more than anybody else. I just don't have any more to put on it. It's not a matter of, oh well, I'll just borrow a little here. Oh well, I just won't pay a little bit. I'm just out. it you know, there are the bills that need to be paid to keep one alive, and then there is the excess. The excess was never that big to begin with, and it now has been completely eliminated. So I am going to try to get that part done through the generosity of. Oh, it's got to be generosity. The test pilot has been nothing but generous with her time and support. You know, I wouldn't be riding at all this summer if she hadn't bought me that motorcycle. And anyone that knows me really well knows that if I had gone this summer without riding, that could have been the end, my friend. The end. I need to go out and ride a few times every summer at least, just to blow the cobwebs out of my head. Um, and so I thank you very much for that. But I have loaded all the parts and pieces in the car. The trunk, I lined the trunk with plastic and couple of layers of corrugated plastic, and all the parts have been put in there. The clean parts, gaskets, stuff like that, and box all been put inside on in the back seat and stuff. And yeah, um, as it goes, I'm going to try to get it back together, and I'm going to attempt, but maybe not. I did put the car up for sale at a a reasonable price, actually. If anybody knows knows these vehicles, knows these engines, the parts they're getting with it alone are worth this and more. $1,000 worth of tires on the car right to begin with, and they've got less than 500 kilometers, and they've been spun twice for very minimally, no smoke shows and nothing like that. The camshaft is those ain't cheap. Various things like that. But it is just a collection of pieces unless somebody wants it, I understand. And it is an engine with a problem. So there's that. Takes away from the reputation of it. So we're still in the game, but we're the guy over in the corner that is folding every time it comes to his turn to bet. We're just gonna bleed chips for a little bit and see what happens. I don't think I'm completely done. I had considered a video here where I was just going to announce the end of things. But that's a little harsh. I was told one time that you can just let something sit and not touch it, and it won't cost you anything. And that's sort of true. If a person decides to go back to it later on, it might cost you something for the rust and the neglect. But I've got it in the garage, where it'll stay. It'll be undercover. No UV light on the tires, which is the end of the world these days. And we'll see what happens. I do have plans, which may actually happen this year, of changing up things a little bit. We're going to go to a black vinyl roof look and put the black Challenger stickers down the side. We're going to paint them on. Painted decals down the side. Any of you are familiar with the Challenger knows what the Challenger stripe looks like. And there is the possibility of a black spoiler mounted on the trunk as well, just to give it that well-rounded look. Always figured the back of those things needed a little something. So those plans are in the works. If the guy comes through with the spoiler, he's supposed to be doing the body work on it, stuff like that. Maybe. You know what luck I've had with people coming through with things. But if he comes through with that, we'll put it on there just for fun. And a couple of cans of satin black paint, don't cost that much. 2 or 3 cans of that and some masking tape, and we're off to the races. So there is plans along that line that, if I get a real violent urge and find $100 bill on the ground or something, nobody claims, because, find $100 bill, people are very honest about it, then nobody would claim that it was theirs. Then we might get something like that done. But we are gonna try that piston. Probably gonna reassemble the motor with that piston, even with this binding situation that seems odd. Who knows? Maybe that'll counteract the removal of the balance shafts, and the thing will run so smooth that I'll be making toast and spreading butter on it on the valve cover. But I'm not quite sure that's the way it's going to go. But I've been talking for a significant amount of time. And when I talk to myself. The long and the short of it is probably not going to be as regular or as many videos coming out. Do still plan on taking some videos, drag racing events that I plan on going to. Big one coming up here with jet cars and everything. Some car shows I plan on going to. Stuff like that. Maybe a bike trip here coming up that the test pilot's talking about. So, there's still be other things. I wouldn't want you to miss me. But as far as videos of the car, we may be on a extended leave with sporadic updates. But for those of you that have been watching up till now, thanks a lot. I do appreciate it. Yeah, your comments that I've gotten, encouragement, been great. And nothing to feel bad about here. This is just the way things go. And, you know, that's, uh, that's Hot Rod. Thank you much. Bye-bye.